Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. So we are moving on into Psalm 91 today. Again, going to finish that out this week so that we will be ready to start Advent discussions for next week because Sunday's December 1st. But we're in Psalm 91 verse 13 today. One thing that I do want to mention to finish up verse 12 and then we'll move on into 13 is that we talked about the angels bearing you up in their hands and how they ministered to Jesus, how they would minister. But the Passion Translation, which is it's a great read, it says, they will bear you up to keep you from stumbling. And if we tie in all of Psalm 91 and we go back and remember that we talked about the fowler's snare and traps, and I think about stumbling in a trap. Those two words just kept coming back together for me as I was looking at studying this. And so that the angels would bear us up to keep us from stumbling. So I'm going to submit or look at that as that they will help us from stumbling into a trap. So that was just another point that I wanted to make there. But moving into Psalm 91:13, there is a lot of information in this verse. It says, "You shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot." Now, we're going to start with definitions, okay? Let me get my notes out first. Now, you shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and serpent you shall trample underfoot. So what I want to talk about first is what is this lion adder, the young lion, and the serpent. So first of all, lion, this is what is the Hebrew translation here that they have translated lion. Some notes. From an unused root, probably meaning to roar, a fierce lion from his characteristic roar. Okay? So it's that in reading this, I really got that it was like a lion. That this thing that is translated lion, its meaning was to roar from a fierce lion. Okay? And then young lion, figuratively meaning cruel, bloodthirsty enemies. So if you think about the way that they've got it here, the way that it's written and translation notes and commentaries and all the things, and what Holy Spirit reveals to us that we can piece together and tie in, making connections, is that this lion, a fierce lion, you might think would be a more mature lion. And then also the young lion, figuratively of cruel and bloodthirsty enemies. So where have we heard and read about, learned about that fierce lion roaring? 1 Peter 5:8. So let's read that. And it makes so much sense. We got some really good tie-ins this week. I'm just excited. So if we go to 1 Peter 5:8, it says, "Be well balanced, temperate, sober of mind, be vigilant and cautious at all times, for that enemy of yours, the devil, roams around like a lion, roaring in fierce hunger, seeking someone to seize upon and devour." So also, can we just talk about a light bulb right here? Be well balanced, temperate, sober of mind, vigilant, and cautious at all times. Cautious so that we might not stumble. Where we go back to the previous verse in the Passion, remember, it says to bear you up, to keep you from stumbling, that they would sustain, endure. So this lion is one who's roaring in fierce hunger. He is our enemy. And in Psalm 91, that young lion, which is figurative for cruel and bloodthirsty enemies. So let's go back here. Verse 13, "You shall tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and serpent you shall trample underfoot." Now, the last thing that I want to mention, and we'll close with this for today, is the adder and the serpent. So an adder comes from the root meaning to twist. Okay, and I know that wicked, like wicker, Wiccan, those things are twisted. Like if you see wicker furniture, it is twisted, right? So in the same type of thing, that's what I thought about when I was reading this, that the adder comes from the root meaning to twist, and the Hebrew word looks like the word python. If you look at the Hebrew word and you look at it knowing that the adder is much like the serpent, and actually it is translated a venomous snake, serpent, or viper, it really looks like the word python. So, taking adder, coming from the root word to twist, I thought about Adam and Eve, that to twist, deception, that it's almost truth, but it's not truth, and so it's twisted just enough to make wrong look right. And so where Adam and Eve and the serpent presented himself as he deceived. It says in Genesis that he deceived Eve, and so it was not as it appeared. The way Satan presented this information to Eve was deceptive and not as it appeared. So to go back over all those things, we have the lion, from the meaning to roar or fierce lion, which is the characteristic of a roar. The adder, which is from the root meaning to twist, looks like the word python, a venomous snake, serpent, or viper. And the young lion being cruel, bloodthirsty enemies. Twisting, deception, twisted, incorrect, not as it appears, and I'm just excited about where we're going from here. So today we got the components, the nuts and bolts of it, and tomorrow we're going to finish this verse out. I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.